You only get one shot. Are they going to click on that and look more at the listing, or are they going to move on?
Real Estate Radio Boston with loan officer Rick Shearer of Guaranteed Rate.
If you are dealing with someone that doesn't understand those micro markets, you're going to be steered completely in the wrong direction.
And legal professional Ali Alavi of Alavi Braza PC.
It's a transaction for us, but it's someone's home.
The biggest anxiety I felt, am I going to get the mortgage?
It all breaks down to communication.
Real Estate Radio Boston gives you the information you need to succeed in today's housing market.
Just agree on something?
Yeah, we actually did. Isn't that amazing?
I love that.
You're giving me this blank stare.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this. But
You left his lawyer up.
he's handsome too.
Rick Shearer, NMLS ID 454910. This is Real Estate Radio Boston.
Spring can start in our market as soon as January 30th. And if the weather is right, people are coming out and they're looking for the right house. But people are also feeling like, rather buyers are feeling like, well, it's just January 30th, so maybe I'll wait until April 15th. But sometimes if you're in a very hot price range, better to jump sooner as opposed to being with all that competition later.
Absolutely. I mean, are you seeing buyers on the sideline? I mean, I just see a lot of my clients are like, well, we're not going to get totally crazy and active, but we're still seeing all the listings that are being sent to us by our agent, and they're looking to, as soon as they see something on, they're back in the market. I mean, they're back in really aggressively looking.
Right.
Are you seeing that? I mean, because I think that the sellers are really just keep waiting for this so-called spring market, and they just don't understand that there's so many buyers out there. There's really no markets anymore.
Right. Sellers should know that buyers are out there looking now. Inventory is low. It's happening across the town. I don't know rhyme or reason for that. I mean, historically, this is just what we can see in this time of year. But in these markets, I mean, the early bird gets the worm. The sellers that are putting their place on, if it's priced right, it's going to go. And the buyers are there.
Now, how many, we talk about the fact that it's a seller's market, obviously. I mean, are you, and you mentioned something really critical, priced right. Are you seeing a lot of sellers sort of pushing back and saying, it's a seller's market, I want to ask the world of my buyers?
We are seeing that a little bit. When I say priced right, I mean, price is so important. You have to nail the price. And price is a funny thing right now. We've seen this for the last couple years. Even if buyers feel something is $20,000 to $50,000 overpriced, they won't even approach it. They won't even open a conversation with an offer. When I'm on the buy side, I try to encourage that. Just let's ask the seller to show their hand. I mean, maybe they come down. If they come down $5,000, then there's your answer.
Yeah.
But it's very important to be priced where people see value. And certainly when I'm going on a listing appointment, we're coming armed with all the data.
Right.
We are not going to. We're not going to tell someone that the price is inflated because that's what they want to hear. It doesn't do anybody a good justice. I don't want a seller having their house in.
Are you seeing the inventory come on like it should in this like last year around this time? Are you seeing the inventory come, or are people still sitting on the sidelines waiting for the flowers to bloom and that type of thing?
Well, that is the thing that a lot of the sellers say. I don't want to bring it on because we're just having snowstorms. I want to see the flowers in bloom, and they're coming on and they're going. So that's just proof in the
right.
Proof is in the pudding, is what they say.
Pudding.
Yes, I agree with that. Interesting. So, are you seeing sort of a spike in inventory as we've seen year over year because people don't want to necessarily compete with the other seller pools now?
They're just starting to come on, yes. And each week we're going to get more houses come on. A couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3. Now you're getting 6 or 7 coming on. So yes, it's just starting.
Where are you seeing where we are today? What's your forecast over the course of the next couple of years?
Well, we all know interest rates are probably going to be going up. So
Yeah.
I think we have a little softening up at the high end. And when I say high end, it's over the 2 million mark. And,
Okay.
and that's just longer days on market and more inventory.
Got it.
But everything in the under $1 million, under $1.5 million is still very, very robust.
So you're suggesting that perhaps the ultra luxury market may have hit the 8th inning, but that has not impacted and trickled down to the million and below.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Can you highlight the value of a local agent and why it's important to use a local agent?
It's absolutely adamant to get a local agent because they live in the town, they eat it, they breathe it, they know what's going on in town, they know the history of the house that maybe sold before. It's really important. And they know they can get the buyers in right away. And you have to be in every house in order to serve your buyer or your seller clients because you have to know the condition and how that compares. So
What are some of the challenges that are associated with buying a lakefront property? I mean, obviously, it's not your run-of-the-mill property. A lot of the stuff you talked about with regards to characteristics of a lake will come into effect. But what about the property itself? What are some of the challenges associated with that?
Well, it's amazing how much different they are than just a regular cul-de-sac home. In fact, we put together a checklist of 37 items that we developed over the years that people need to ask when they're buying a lakefront home. So, for example, something you probably would have never thought of. So a lot of these lakefront communities are on what's called private roads. It might be just a dirt road that runs into 6 or 7, lakefront homes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, private roads can be a headache when you go to finance a property.
Yes, they can be. We figured out a way to get around it, but yeah, they kind of, for the wrong lender, you can have problems with private roads.
Sure. So there's a bunch of lending type information that needs to be known ahead of time. But one of the biggest ones that we run into a lot in our business is flood insurance.
Right.
So flood insurance may or may not be needed for lakefront homes, and it really depends on the topography of the lake itself and also what kind of dam is at one end. Most of these lakes are man-made, so there's a dam at one end.
So these are things that you have to obviously decipher prior to putting an offer in. So there's a lot of education that needs to go into a potential buyer that wants to put an offer in a lakefront property.
There is. In fact, there's so much that we offer once a year what's called a Keys to Buying Lakefront Property seminar in March. That's coming up in a week and a half here. And
tell
there's
us about
100
that.
or 150 people that show up for this just to learn those differences.
Why don't you tell us about this seminar, actually?
So we really focus on a 2-hour seminar that goes over all the key differences. In fact, that 37-item list is kind of our loose agenda that says, here, when you're buying a lakefront home, here's all the things you need to think about. And we go through that list, and we make sure people are well prepared to buy that home with it.